Welcome to the information session for online programs in quality assurance at California State University, Dominguez Hills. My name is Keith Otterberg, and I'm the Director of Marketing for the College of Extended and International Education at Cal State Dominguez Hills, and I'll be your host. To begin, feel free to download the Program Information Kit for details about the program and additional resources covered in the webinar. The address is bit.ly/CSUDH-MSQA-info kit. We have provided a link in the chat for those who are participating live, and it will be available in a follow-up email to attendees as well as on our website. With that said, let's take a look at today's agenda. We'll begin by meeting CSUDH Quality Assurance Program Coordinator Milton Krivokuca, and he will discuss what quality assurance is, careers in QA and what it can do for you, student outcomes from our programs, and the quality assurance programs offered at CSUDH. Then we'll go over how to get started in our programs and address your questions in our Q&A session. We'll also have a survey at the end of this webinar, and so we'd love to get your feedback on how we can make future events even better. And if you're on social media, please use the hashtag CSUDHExtendedEd or use the tag @CSUDHExtendedEd. So let's begin. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Milton Krivokuca.
Okay, all right, thank you, Keith. This little bit in addition to my biography here, there's a couple items I'd like to share with you that I think are significant. Of course, my educational qualifications are listed on this slide, but what you don't see is I've been associated with the CSUDH MSQA program since 2007. Prior to that, I worked in industry. I worked in heavy manufacturing, steel processing, fabrication, machining, and I had extensive quality experience implementing quality management systems, ISO 9001, and also continuous process improvement before I changed my career to education. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is that I am typical of our entire staff. All of our faculty in this program are working practitioners. None of them are full-time educators. They teach because they like sharing their expertise with the students and interacting with them. And I think that's really one of the strong points of this program. There's a common question that comes up very frequently. What is quality assurance? Well, let's try to take a quick look at it here to set up why we built the program, how we built the program, and why we have the content in the program as it is. You can always work in a good starting point. A good reference point is always a dictionary definition. System for ensuring a desired level of quality in development, production, or delivery of products and services. And for those of you that have some quality backgrounds, some quality experience, and are familiar with one of our quality gurus of the 20th century, W. Edwards Deming, he said that we have to put this into perspective. We have to put it into context. So that's what we do with this definition, is we place it into context related to our profession quality. There are many definitions out there. Just selected this one for discussion. ASQ definition, quality management focused on providing confidence that quality requirements will be fulfilled. This was Kubiak in 2012. Further describes quality assurance as actions taken to yield confidence that customer expectations are met. Understanding and applying quality assurance helps organizations achieve their strategic goals while remaining relevant and competitive in their respective fields. That's placing it into context, and that's really what this entire MSQA program does. We take the tools and methodologies and provide you with that background and that knowledge to place it in context of your situation, to make you a more valuable asset to yourself and your organization. Some of the topics that we look at, and this is just a sampling here, elements of the program. We have 10 classes in the program, and these are the ones that are getting the most attention right now. Total quality management and quality management systems, that's an absolute, that's a start. We also realize that healthcare has its own functional requirements. That's again, placing it in context. Process improvement. Well, there's two different aspects The service industries have one approach to it. Manufacturing has a different approach to it. One is much more math-based and statistics in manufacturing. Services are a little more soft. They don't require the extent of statistics to support continuous improvement. We address those. Reliability is a major issue on both ends. And human factors. Human factors are sometimes being overlooked as we're moving into Industry 4.0 and Quality 4.0 and digitization, artificial intelligence, big data, data analytics. But we forget who's going to prepare the programs, who's going to do the interpretation. There's still the human element. And measurement and testing. Measurement and testing has been around for a long time. It dates back to the first industrial revolution. We keep refining and adding to it. And this is one area of quality that's going to continue to evolve as we move into Quality 4.0, Industry 4.0. How do we do it? How do we make all these things happen? Well, there's the methodologies. And these are the most common ones. Lean Six Sigma, ISO, PDCA. And in the program, you'll learn the difference between them. Which one is best for me? Which one will suit my organization? Which one will address the issues that we have at hand? How can we get the best, most effective model? That's part of the MSQA program. What is a career? What does a career in quality do for you? Well, I could probably spend the entire presentation time exploring these in detail. This is just a high-level sampling here of the types of companies that employ quality professionals. It's in every industry. Biotech and healthcare right now are really recognizing the value of what quality can do to improve their processes. And look where we are today, what we've just come through with the COVID situation and getting that vaccine out there very quickly. Biotech and healthcare running the testing processes. We did okay, and I think everyone agrees we could have done better. Quality could have been very helpful in those areas had it been applied using more of the methodologies and tools that we've just discussed. Aerospace, engineering, IT, new product development, regulatory compliance. Yes, education, higher education is changing. It also has opportunities for continuous process improvement. And then there's business excellence development. That's across all these areas. It spans all these disciplines. What does a quality assurance professional do? Well, it started in manufacturing, the fundamentals, the quality engineer. But from that point, it evolved into quality auditing and auditing for process improvement, auditing quality management systems, auditing the processes, auditing the products. And it's expanded into regulatory compliance, biopharmaceuticals, software quality, IT, also has opportunities for improvements. And the last one here on the list, data science and data analytics. That's the future. That's the exciting future of where Quality 4.0 is going. That's where we've redesigned the program to prepare you to move into those areas. A quality assurance. Why is it important in today's economy? Well, quality management is essential for customer satisfaction, which leads to customer loyalty. Without customers, why bother? Why provide a product? Why provide a service? Customer satisfaction is more important than profits. A satisfied customer will lead the process, will lead the profits. It'll lead to long-term success. So understanding your customer and providing what your customer wants is one of the fundamental challenges and goals of quality assurance. Salaries. What kind of money can I earn as a quality professional? Well, every year the ASQ, American Society for Quality, conducts a survey, and they publish the results in their December edition. And they conduct a survey with literally thousands of quality professionals worldwide. And they post the results by position, by regions of the country, amount of experience, amount of education. And the overall average for all quality professionals from the entry level to the vice presidents The average salary last year was $104,000. And that value has been increasing by 4% annually. Now that's pre-inflation. Now that we've got inflation taking a major part of our society and impacting it, I'm sure that number is even going to be larger next year. But quality professionals are in demand, and they command a very respectable salary. So now that you understand what the need for quality is and what kind of money you can earn, well, what's the advantages? You might say, I've been working in quality for 20 years, 15 years, or whatever. What kind of advantages are there for me to have a master's degree? The master's degree is equivalent to coming in with 2 years experience. The real benefit of this 2 years of experience you get is working under the direction and mentoring of recognized quality professionals, the faculty who are published subject matter experts. They're not your common business managers. They know about quality. So you get 2 years experience working with experts. Also, what will the MSQA do? It'll reinforce your intellectual capital, facilitate your professional development. What I mean by intellectual capital, you'll learn to think creatively. As those of you with quality experience know, that every situation you encounter is unique. There are very few textbook answers. The skills you'll take away are how to read between the lines, how to look at different references and draw conclusions. And then this is the real advantage to business. You can walk away from this program with the ability to document this, conduct this research, and put it in writing and present it and communicate it to others. You'll be recognized for your professional development to be able to do that. And while doing that, you're positioning yourself with cutting edge field, building on your expertise. Many of our classes in this program, we're not using textbooks anymore. The quality issues and the Industry 4.0, Quality 4.0, the IT, some of the laboratory areas are advancing so rapidly the textbooks can't keep up. So your instructors who are subject matter experts are working with conference proceedings, referencing websites, looking at the publications that are being peer reviewed right now, and also assigning practical real world projects that relate to you, your personal lives and your business lives. So that keeps you cutting edge. We're staying ahead of the textbooks in this class. So now that you know about the MSQA program and quality, and you know about the quality profession, why select CSUDH? Why not another university? Well, CSUDH has been a leader in quality assurance online since 1996. We had the very first online distance learning program in quality, and for many years we had the only pure quality assurance program. Other universities have industrial engineering classes, offsets of engineering programs with a focus on quality engineering, or offsets of an MBA program with a focus on quality. But no, we are the ones with the pure reference of quality, which you can then take once you have this degree, and you can move your career into management if you so choose, or move it into engineering, or move it into research, because you have the foundations of quality as it applies and needs today. It's a top quality online and learning environment. As I mentioned, the faculty expertise are all published subject matter experts. Many of them will teach classes with 1 or 2 students, just because they enjoy sharing the thoughts and ideas and working with developing the next generation of quality professionals. Many of our students have won national quality awards, have been employed with companies like the Malcolm Baldrige Award, have implemented many ISO systems. But it was the ASQ World Conference that happened to be there in Anaheim, and I attended. Many of our graduates now have gone on to ASQ technical communities, and they're technical community leaders. They're the division chairs, the subject matter experts. The ASQ Board of Directors has a couple of MSQA graduates on it. So they're being very well recognized throughout the quality profession. And these graduates across all industries. It's not just in manufacturing, service, healthcare, but also in nonprofits. The skills have applications in all areas. Student outcomes, we conduct a survey every year. And we'd like to know how our students feel about the program after they graduate. And then the basics, we find out that about 62% of them earn a salary increase or promotion after graduation. 89% consider the courses relevant to industry demands. 91% felt the degree would be helpful to their career advancement in the future, not just today, not just as we survey them now, but over the long run, the next 5 to 10 years, strategic growth that they have plans. And 92% gain knowledge and skills required for their job. One item I didn't publish here is the employment rates. I believe it's like 99.9%. I think in the last 6 or 7 years that we've been conducting surveys, I can only recall one person saying that they were unemployed. Most of them had multiple job offers before they ever completed their education. So they were ready to move on and they had jobs waiting for them. The CSUDH online quality assurance program is a master's program. It's asynchronous. As I said, we've been doing distance learning for years now. This is nothing new to us, nothing new to our instructors. They know how to manage a virtual classroom. We have students from every time zone in the world. I've done, as you saw in my introductory slide, I've traveled extensively. I've met many of our students in Europe and in the Middle East and even in the Caribbean, Mexico. So this asynchronous format here is very user-friendly, and the instructors recognize that. The assignments are basically on a seven-day requirement. They'll post the requirements and you have 7 days to submit the assignment, to participate in the discussions, the chats, and provide your feedback. So they're aware of that. We also have, and I'll be talking about that in a couple minutes here, certificate programs. This is in addition to our MSQA. We've just brought these certificate programs on this year. We have Lean Six Sigma certificates for Green Belt and Black Belt, and these are not ASQ exam preparation courses. These are classroom learning exercises where you'll work with a subject matter expert who's also published many of the handbooks on Six Sigma, Green Belt, and Black Belts, and you will be working almost with the instructor being a master black belt to help you develop a project related to your job. And at the completion of the 9 weeks, you should have the project near completion. So these are not exam preparation courses. Also, we have an accreditation for laboratory conformity certificate. I'll talk more about that in a couple minutes. And also soft skills of quality. It's these skills, the intellectual capital, managing virtual teams, managing multi-generational teams and multicultural teams. So these are our flagship courses and certificates, and they are also all online distance learning. So there's no need to ever come to campus. A little more about our instructors. Very wide range of skills, subject matter experts. They have management experience as well as quality implementation experience. They've implemented various types of quality management systems. Most all of them are published. They've submitted papers like to the ASQ conference or to other conferences or forums related to Six Sigma or measurement science, metrology. They've all presented papers. They're polished public speakers. There were several of them at the ASQ. Several of our instructors were at the ASQ conference last week, and they were interacting and meeting many of our students who were there. Their real world experience, like all areas, aerospace, manufacturing, both the traditional side and the high tech, healthcare and pharma, laboratory and metrology. The healthcare and pharma, laboratory and metrology, these are the challenges for the future. This is where Quality 4.0 is going to be evolving to. And we're laying those foundations now and providing those skills for success. A little bit about our program. We have 2 tracks in the master's program. One is the manufacturing track. This is the traditional. This is the program. This is the track that we set up initially to satisfy manufacturing. And these are the required courses. You can see there's advanced probability and statistics, statistical quality control and sampling, measurement and testing, reliability, advanced experimental design. Then we have the quality function management, TQM, quality project management. There's electives, directed research. You can do a thesis or a project, or take a comprehensive exams. We have a lot of options for you. There's 10 classes, 30 units. Notice I didn't mention advanced experimental design and human factors and quality. These are 2 classes that have just received major overhauls related to quality 4.0. The advanced experimental design moves on to address human factors and experimental design with human factors and multicultural and multi-generational employees, as well as big data, data analytics, and data science. And the human factors, the ergonomics related to virtual learning, sitting in front of a computer for longer times now than you ever did before, how to conduct a meeting and how to manage these teams are 2 of the most popular classes in this program. In addition to that traditional track, we have a service and healthcare track. TQM class, the quality management, the human factors apply in this program as well. But there's a softer algebra-based version of statistical quality control as to how quality or how statistics can apply for service industries. It's not you don't see the advanced experimental design, the reliability and sampling. It's just the value that descriptive statistics can bring to service processes. And in addition, we have customer satisfaction and quality assurance, and then quality assurance for the service process. There are electives, and again, you have the option here of a thesis project or comprehensive exam. Total of 30 units, 10 classes. And next, we'll take a quick look at our elective courses. Now, these are up to you. Which area, where do you want to focus your attention? And there's the common ones that have been around for a while, the ISO 9001 or audit function, food and drug law, supplier quality assurance, lean, evaluation and outcome for healthcare, biomed quality control, which is basically a GMP, software quality, quality measurement, Six Sigma, there's the GMP, and risk. But new to the program, new that we're just kicking off, we just had approved, that they're new to the catalog, case studies in quality, where we take a different approach to evaluating situations from published case studies and pick them apart and look at methodologies and look at the tools and evaluate how the decision was made and how effective it was. It also helps for anyone who's decided that they wanted to take the comprehensive exam. The case studies is kind of like capstone preparation for the comp exam. But we have digitally transforming quality with Industry 4.0. That's a new one. Laboratory conformity assessment. That's a new one. With all the COVID testing that's taking place and all the vaccine testing, that's an issue that's getting a lot of attention, a lot of interest there. And then counterfeit products. That's another new class that aligns with digitally transforming quality and laboratory. And now that we've got new vaccines on the market out there, how can we be sure that they're not going to put counterfeits and slip them by on us? So those are the elective courses for the MSQA program. Now, something else new. This for fall, beginning in fall 2022. MSQA students can get credit for prior learning. This is a new law that was passed by the state of California, just implemented last fall. And the MSQA program, as far as I know, is one of the first programs at CSUDH that allows this to take place. If you have a certified quality auditor, CQA, or if you're a CMQOE or certified Six Sigma Black Belt from ASQ, and your certification is current, and you can provide the documentation that it is a current, valid, current certificate. There is some paperwork we need to perform, but we can award you 3 units of elective credit for each of these certifications. That's 3 units per certification. That's 1 less class that you would have to take, but this counts towards your degree. There was a lot of work getting to this point. It's been validated by the accreditation agency that oversees our programs in the United States, American Accreditation Society. So this is another great opportunity for MSQA students to get through the program faster and with less cost for you. So this is new, and they'll be starting here very soon. So now that you know about the program, what does it take to get into the program? Well, a bachelor's degree, 2.5 GPA or higher. It must be from a university that's regionally accredited here in the United States. And if your undergraduate degree was taken offshore, there are various agencies that can do an equivalency comparison and provide a report to see if, to validate that your offshore degree does satisfy this domestic degree. The program is very affordable. It's not a cheap program, but it's an affordable program. There's $330 per credit unit, 30 units total. So the program is about $9,900 plus books and other fees, roughly be, say, around $12,000. The reason that it's so affordable is even if you're not in California, you still get California residency rates. So that's something to really take advantage of. We also have financial assistance options, distance learning aids. There's professional organization scholarships, private student loans. Many of our students receive tuition reimbursement from their employers. The MSQA program is a STEM program. It's a topic, a subject that fits into most any industry. So it qualifies under almost every tuition reimbursement program. And we also, as I mentioned briefly, we have professional organizational scholarships. Those will be posted as they become available, and any MSQA student is eligible to apply for these professional organization scholarships as they come up. We had the Measurement Science Conference, and one of our students was awarded a very, very healthy scholarship for her studies related to measurement science, related to metrology through the MSQA program. Steps to apply: go visit Cal State Apply. Step 1, contact your previous college, request transcripts. And there's the information. I'm not going to spend a lot of time reading into it. It's very user-friendly, self-explanatory. It's not very difficult to do. The Cal State Apply deadline for fall applications, this is coming up July 1st. And spring application is November 1st. We accept students into the program, both fall and spring. So applications have to be submitted by July 1st for fall and by November 1st for spring. And for questions, 310-243-3880. I believe Carla, our student support expert, answers that phone, or we have our MSQA at CSUDH email address that we'll respond to. And in summary here, I'd just like to touch base again on our new certificate programs. We have the Lean Six Sigma, Green Belts, and Black Belt programs. We're presenting these certificates in conjunction with university training partners. University training partners have been doing this in the East Coast, the Southeast, for several years now. And we're sharing the instructor, and we're presenting this. And so, as I mentioned earlier, you actually do a project here. The instructor is not really an instructor, but a master black belt to walk you through each step of the process. The other new program is laboratory standardization, conformity assessment. We've developed this program in conjunction with IAS, International Accreditation Services. There are 4 instructors, 4 modules. 3 of the instructors are published subject matter experts with IAS. The 4th instructor is with the MSQA program here at CSUDH. These are the modules: conformity assessment principles, the world of standardization, risk analysis and conformity assessment, systems of accreditation. And given the amount of COVID testing that's taken place and the challenges that laboratories are faced with today, this class in 16 hours provides your laboratory technicians with the skills they need to understand the importance and significance of quality systems. And finally, another new course that's just been developed, be offered shortly: soft skills, quality 4.0. I mentioned this briefly, that we're moving into digitization, data analytics, data analysis, data science, artificial intelligence, robotics, big data, but there's still the human element. We've still got people out there. We've got 4 generations of them in the workplace. We're meeting with them virtually, and the challenges are communicating, understanding their commitments, understanding their contribution. So in this 16-hour course, we're looking at leadership, effective decision-making, time management, team building, assessing risk, assessing talent, voice of the customer. You've heard all these before, but you haven't seen them in this perspective related to virtual learning and where business and industry are now and how we had to quickly react after COVID. So this is another cutting edge class, another cutting edge topic in our program.
Well, thank you very much, Milt.
Okay.
That was an awesome presentation of both quality from a larger perspective, as well as how our program fits into that and what it can do for you, as well as our new certificates and how you can supplement your knowledge, either if you're new to the field or if you've been in the field. Either one would be appropriate for the certificates. So let me just say the registration for the certificates is a little bit different than applying for the degree program. It's very simple. You call our registration office at 310-243-3741, option 1. You can also reach them by calling 877-GO-HILLS, option 1. And if you've taken a course at Dominguez Hills in the last 2 years, you can register online using your my.csudh.edu account. If you have questions about the certificate programs or the registration process, you can reach us at learn@csudh.edu or by calling 310-243-2075. Once you are registered in the certificate classes, or once you are admitted to the MSQA program, all of our quality assurance programs are conducted online. And so upon registration for your first course, each student will need to create login credentials and access our student portal, which is called My CSUDH. This portal includes Blackboard, which is our learning management system, Toro Mail, which is the campus student email system, and the Zoom web conferencing tool, which we use as well. These login credentials, which include your username, email account, and password, are issued through our registration office about 2 to 3 business days after your registration in your first course. So that's just some logistical stuff that you'll need to know to access our programs. So with that in mind, let's go to the Q&A, and we have quite a few questions. We'll start out with a 60,000-foot view from Zachary, who's asking you, Milt, what do you find in our culture gets wrong or misjudges about quality assurance?
They misunderstand it. There's still too many people, management especially, views quality assurance from the traditional manufacturing perspective, the production line, where quality is inspected into a product. Quality is part of the production process, and the inspectors are defect detectives. They're making sure that nothing gets slips by, that the work is done properly, and it gets the final product is built to specifications and requirements. That's a misunderstanding. They do not see quality as an opportunity, the methodologies and tools for improvement. It extends beyond a production process. It extends into services. It extends into our personal lives, how we accomplish things and how we make things happen, how we plan and schedule. And we only have a limited number of hours in the day. And we have to balance work. We have to balance our professional lives and our personal lives and our personal time. And quality can make that happen. We can assess it, we can prioritize it, we can use tools, and just make life better in general for us, not just the products and services that we provide. So I see it extending well beyond the misunderstanding that many companies, many managers have, that it's something that belongs in a production line.
That's right. If we've gotten to the defect detectives, as you call them, then we've failed in our quality program. Terrific. Next, this is a a more specific question, but I think it applies in terms of applies more broadly in terms of people's background. So Salvador is asking, he currently works in biopharma as a QA specialist, but recently agreed to change over to manufacturing as a senior manufacturing technologist with the intent to learn more on the technical side of biopharma. With that said, how will he benefit from this program?
Okay, he would benefit from the traditional track, the manufacturing track of quality, where we look at the statistics, the sampling, the reliability, and design of experiments. Those are the fundamentals, because those fundamentals then can be taken and customized and approached to which I don't know all the specifics he's going to encounter in biopharma. I've got a pretty good idea, but with those basics from quality, from the traditional aspect of it, he'll be able to make that connection and move those skills directly into whatever the situations are that he encounters in biopharma. I can't provide an exact explanation, but it will work. It is very applicable. It will be time well spent. You'll be able to do the research, gather data, do data analysis, and be successful in those areas.
Okay. Next question. What would you recommend if somebody's not studying quality assurance at the bachelor's level? What would you recommend as a bachelor's degree ahead of applying to the MSQA?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's interesting. Good question. I didn't bring that up in the presentation. I probably should have. But the new students entering the MSQA program have a very wide and diverse backgrounds in their bachelor's programs. They're coming from areas where you would not consider any correlation whatsoever, coming out of humanities, sociology, psychology, some of the fundamental primary healthcare providers. Nothing at all in their bachelor program is preparing them for the master's in quality. However, they do have some practical experience where their jobs that have been involved with understanding or being required to relate to regulatory requirements, being involved in audits, being involved in continuous improvement activities, having heard of a Six Sigma process improvement team that stirred their interest. And with no background whatsoever in quality, but they have some practical experience out there and they've been exposed to it, that they have an idea of what they're getting into, and they gain this passion for it, this real desire to learn and study more. They come into the program very motivated, and they do well. They actually perform well. So the requirements say you should have a technical degree, but if you don't have a technical degree, I will request you provide me your resume. We might actually do an interview. I'll ask you some of these questions about what you understand about processes and process improvements, anything at all about quality management systems, and of course, some basic statistics, knowing what the value of descriptive statistics are. And that can be just in relation to control charts, histograms, or any types of line charts that are posted in your organization. And with that passion and desire to learn, you will do well with basically any background whatsoever.
Very good. Okay. We're getting a bunch of questions in the Q&A about how the classes are conducted. I think we need to talk a little bit about how asynchronous classes work, what is to be expected of students in terms of homework time and that sort of thing on a weekly basis.
Okay, well, each instructor conducts their class a little bit differently, but the fundamental requirements are that they have a discussion board every week, and they require you post in a discussion board. Now, the discussion boards, most of the instructors use a discussion board as like a supplement to classroom lectures. They will provide their comments in a discussion board that would normally be delivered as part of lectures. They encourage students to share personal experiences related to the different topics that you're studying, whatever the class is. Like I teach the project management class, and I strongly encourage my students to post something related to any projects that they participated on. Most everyone has a term paper or project assignment. The assignments are generally related to the subject of the class that they're teaching. Of my class in project management, again, I have a 3-part term paper project. I required about 16 pages, which sounds like it's phenomenal. At the end of the semester, I get papers that are 30 pages because we break it into pieces, and we walk you through and follow that step by step. There are weekly assignments, quizzes. It's all conducted through Blackboard, posted in the Dropbox in Blackboard. Each class is required a final exam. Our final exams are proctored through ProctorU. Generally, they're multiple choice questions. You submit a term paper and take a final multiple choice exam along with the weekly discussions. The amount of time that you spend, it's up to you. If you're really into the topic, you want to learn more about it. The nice part about distance learning is you can spend as much time as you want. In the discussion thread, students will post other links to other sources and references and case studies and papers. I'd say a minimum, allow yourself about 3 to 5 hours a week, and it varies week to week. But that's typically what the assignments are like. The ones that are math intensive, the statistics classes, they'll probably still be a term paper, but your quizzes and your homework assignments will be more related to the problems, the math problems, the statistical problems.
Very good. And I just want to reiterate that these are asynchronous courses, so there is no scheduled class time and days that you need to be logged in.
And some instructors do record lectures and post them. Other ones will have informal, non-required classes, maybe once non-required Zoom sessions where they'll log in for a half hour, 45 minutes, do questions and answers, but they don't make it a requirement if they do have those Zooms. So you don't get penalized if you can't attend because you're in another time zone or it conflicts with your job schedule.
Okay. Now a question about the certificates. For Six Sigma Green Belt and Black Belt, would they receive the belt, the certification when they complete the program?
They will get a certificate from CSUDH saying that they completed the program. That's a certificate. That's not a certification. CSUDH does not provide certifications. Only ASQ does. You would have to separately sign up for the certification exam from ASQ and take the exam from them to become certified. You will get a certificate from us, but only ASQ can certify you. And that becomes a personal choice to you for your career is, do you want a certificate and certification, or you just want a certificate? And it's a personal trade-off. But no, we do not provide certification. We're not authorized to do that.
And does the certificate prepare you for the certification exam?
Yes, it's not designed to do that, but you will come away with enough information to be able to take the exam.
Okay.
The difference being that ASQ does provide certification preparation classes. And when you take a preparation class, they just focus on what the content is of the exam, and that's all that is studied in the class. This class goes above and beyond that, and we don't just focus on the exam content. We focus on the entire body of knowledge. And as you develop a project, and you learn which part of the body of knowledge, which content is going to be most applicable to solving your particular problem.
Very good. Okay. Now into the MSQA program and talking about the comprehensive exam. I know we just started that, but do we have any numbers in terms of how many people pass the exam and what is the length of time in the exam, that sort of thing?
Well, we just started providing the exam last fall and this spring. That's really not enough information for statistical significance. All right. I will say that the pass rate's been very high. is very high. I don't want to quote any numbers on it because I don't have enough statistics to do that. And the time that they've spent taking the exam, again, there haven't been that many students, but we allot 5 hours, and most of them have been 3.5 to 4.5 hour time range. No one's timed out, but most of them have been well over 3 to 4 hour time range.
Okay. Let's see. Somebody's asking if they can take more electives than they are required, because there's a lot of classes they want to take.
Yeah. Yes, you can. You can do
Okay.
that. All right.
Okay.
We don't throw you out of the program. I've had a couple people that said that they held back graduation because they wanted to take a couple additional electives, and their company was paying for it, even though it was above and beyond. And no, I would not restrict them from doing that if they wanted to take additional electives.
Okay. Somebody's asking about how math intensive the courses are, and obviously manufacturing is going to be more math intensive than the service in healthcare.
Right. Well, of course, the advanced probability and testing is very math intensive. Reliability and sampling by far is the most math intense. The DOE does have some math in it. Other than those classes, the other courses are not that math. You'll reference some equations in that, but they're not math intensive at all.
Okay. Somebody's asking what the acceptance rate is for this program. Do we have those numbers on hand?
No, basically the acceptance rate, if you meet the entrance criteria that we've just discussed, 2.5 GPA, and you've got the degree from an regionally accredited institution, that's really all it takes. So we set capacity limits on this program, maximum numbers, and we haven't reached them. We'd like to one of these days, but we haven't reached them, but we've got a ways to go.
All right. But you do need a degree. Somebody is asking if you don't have a degree, if you can apply for the program, but that's pretty set in stone. You need a bachelor's degree.
Right. There's nothing we can do about that. That's, California Title V and master's degree programs for accreditation across the country, across the board.
Okay. And what's the average completion time for most students?
The last data I had was a little over 3 years, and most all of them were working on a thesis. That was pre-comp exam days. I think it was like 3 years and 3 months. And everyone that's in the program is working full time. Many of them just take one class per semester. And after they completed classes, it usually took 6 months, 6 to 9 months, 1 or 2 semesters to finish their thesis or project. So it was about 3.3. And I talked to a couple of students who completed a program in 2 years.
Okay.
And they did their thesis in 2 years. So 2 years, I'd say, was the minimum, but the average look about 3 years, 3 years and a couple of months.
Okay. Next person is asking, they've been out of college for 22 years. They have a chemistry degree, and they're currently the senior quality coordinator at a pharmaceutical company. Does their work history count towards acceptance without submitting their college transcript?
No, transcripts are a requirement.
Okay.
There's no getting around that. Transcripts must be provided.
And as to your point earlier, if their GPA is below 2.5, but they have a lot of experience, to contact you and we can work on something.
We've done that, and we worked around that. Yes, if they can provide and document that kind of experience, I don't give 100% guarantee, but I've been very successful. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
I'm getting into the program.
Next question is similar to another one. Will a candidate without a bachelor's but with QA experience and technical diplomas and postgraduate certificate be considered for admission? And I would say the answer is no.
No, the bachelor's degree is a requirement. That they've moved, like on that credit for life experience, that's CPL classes, they made some movement in that area, but they did not budge at all on the requirement for the bachelor's degree.
Okay. Is this, somebody's asking, is this program aligned better for early to mid-career professionals, or would it also align with somebody who has more experience, e.g. 20 plus years?
Both.
Both.
Both
Okay.
of them. And here's how I differentiate that. The content of the programs are the same. If they've got a lot of experience, and they just really need that master's degree, and they've got a history of accomplishments behind them and success, when they enter the program, I advise them to take the comprehensive exam, to do the comp exam. If they've got less experience, if they're early on in their career, they don't have a lot of credentials and success stories behind them, and they really want to move into other areas of quality and see a long history of advancement in front of them, then I strongly advise them to do a thesis or project, because then that thesis or project becomes part of their portfolio, and they can take that portfolio in on job interviews. And that portfolio, that thesis, means a lot. I've had that feedback come from former graduates, that they told me that they got promotions and hired into positions of very high levels in organizations. And when they were interviewed, the interviewing team was looking at their thesis more than asking them questions, because that was a demonstration of what they actually could do. So that's really where I differentiate. You'll learn the same wherever you are in your career. You'll come away with new concepts, you'll pick up new ideas, and then where you want to take your career from that point, you can decide on whether you take the comp exam or the thesis.
Great. Okay. Somebody is asking about whether this program is considered a STEM program. And I don't know why they're asking, so it may matter in terms of who considers it a STEM program and who does not.
Okay, good. That's a complex question. If you look at these STEM requirements as published by the government, they list quality control as a STEM program, but not quality assurance. And this is, master's in quality assurance, but they're one and the same. And if you look at after the quality control and the STEM requirements is set up by the government, and they say and other, well, they leave the door open. And in fact, I just answered this question for a student here a couple of weeks ago, and I wrote a letter to her HR department how quality assurance and quality control complement each other. You can't have one without the other. And the government's already recognized quality control. I don't know why their documents do not say quality assurance, but by all means, this MSQA, it's a master's of science. And our regional accreditation requirement looks at our content, looks at our classes. It's not a master of arts. It's not an MB. It's not an MA like an MBA or master of arts in English literature or English composition or something. No, it's a master of science because of the amount of statistics, sampling. And I don't know why the government doesn't have quality assurance and quality controls both in there, but it is definitely a STEM program.
Okay. Next question. Do we provide training opportunities after the course in companies or in industry? I can answer that. I would say no. However, the networking opportunities that are afforded in the program can certainly get you there, both with your fellow students as well as your instructors. Would you agree?
Yes, I would agree with that.
Okay. Okay. What's the student to teacher ratio, roughly?
It varies. It'll max at 30 students to the instructor. We max class sizes at 30. Not many of our classes max at 30. Many of the classes run at 5 or less, 5 to 1. As I mentioned earlier, we've had a lot of situations where a student just needed one class or wanted one particular class to graduate. I've contacted an instructor and they've taught the class one-on-one. But 30 to 1 would be your maximum. And that would be like in the beginning classes, QAS 511, QAS 515, or 518. You won't see that in the other classes as you get more involved into the higher level, more advanced classes in the program.
Couple of questions about the comprehensive exam. Somebody's asking what's covered in the exam, and also if someone doesn't pass it, what's the process for retesting?
Content covered is everything in the program. there are 9 student learning outcomes. The questions are structured in a way that there's 9 elements, 9 concepts that we'll focus on through the 30 units that you take. And in your responses to the essay questions and the case studies, you're to demonstrate your mastery and understanding of as many of those as possible, given the nature of the question, the nature of your response. And it's more involved than that. That's really all I need to say for right now. If you can take the exam twice. If you take it the first time and you don't pass, you meet with your the faculty that scored your exam will coach you, counsel you, tell you where your weaknesses were, and provide you with detailed feedback. You can take the exam a second time. If you do not pass the second time, again, the faculty will tell you where your weaknesses were, but there is no appeal and there's no third time. If you would fail twice, all we could offer you would be a certificate of completion as a quality manager or service quality or quality auditor. You would not get a diploma. You would not get a master's degree if you fail the comp exam twice.
Okay. What level of math competency is required going into the program?
Some college level. Hopefully, ideally, you'd have had some statistics or some college algebra. We don't get into any real trigonometry or geometry. College algebra, and if it's the statistics or pre-calculus, something on those lines would be more than adequate. We used to require calculus, but we've backed off on those requirements now. Pre-calc would be plenty. College algebra, statistics.
Okay. Somebody's asking if they get course credits for completing the certificate programs, and the answer to that would be no. They're also asking if content in those courses is covered in the master's program. I believe some of them are, but not all.
Yes,
because we're very cutting edge, as you mentioned. So
yeah, in the certificate programs, the content is covered, but at a much lower level, where you remember, you understand, and demonstrate you know how to apply it. When you get up to the master's classes, the content is very similar, but now you're looking at how you can evaluate it, how you can create it, you can synthesize it and apply it into unique situations. So the content is very similar, but the applications and how you address it is much more challenging.
okay. Somebody else is asking if there's a minimum number of credits to be taken each semester, and the answer is yes, one class, a minimum of one class each term.
That's spring and fall.
Spring and fall, yeah, they don't have to take in the summer if they don't want, although that's just delaying their graduation. Oh, somebody's asking, is there a refresher math class that is offered?
No.
No, okay. So what would you recommend for them in terms of preparing if they need to brush up on their math skills?
I would have to, what I would do is I would refer them to the instructor who teaches the class, where he could have a one-on-one interview with them, and he would share with them what his expectations are, what they need to know to be successful in the class, and then jointly develop a plan on how to accomplish that. That's a situation that's unique to the individual, but I know the instructor would work with them and provide what the expectations and requirements are, and probably provide advice of the best way that they could accomplish that.
Okay. Somebody else is asking, do they need to make a decision between completing the comp exam or doing the project or thesis? Well, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think they need to do that immediately. I'd recommend by the time they get maybe 15 units, 3 classes, by the time they have 6 classes, 18 units, they should, by that time, have decided whether they're going to do a comp exam or a thesis. 6 classes in 18 units, because to take the comp exam prep class or the thesis prep class, you need to complete 18 units successfully. So that's the point where you make a decision.
Okay. And last, more of a fun question. Dr. Milt, what's on your quality assurance bookshelf? Do you have any recommended reading or recommended authors or subject matter experts in quality assurance that people can explore while they're investigating careers in this field?
Oh, wow, there are so many of them. I don't know if you can see behind me here. That's my quality library right behind me. Well, Deming's my favorite, but he's getting a little bit dated now. Duran gets very technical. There are some publications out there like the Essential Deming that provides a high-level overview. Nicole Radziwill just published a book on predictive analytics, data analytics, and quality 4.0 through ASQ Press that kind of sets up where we're going with quality 4.0. I've done a lot of research in human elements, human aspects of it. Peter Drucker, this is one that I've enjoyed. Back in 1995, a guy named Peter Senge wrote The Fifth Discipline that really set up where we are with quality today. He revised it in 2007, which I've read that one as well. And he was disappointed with the results we've made, and the lack of progress. And I reread that one now. COVID's kind of got me restricted here. But I also highly recommend that. It's The Fifth Discipline, Peter Senge. And it does a good job of laying out all the issues and what we need to address, where we need to be in order to be successful. But those are probably the ones that I say are my mainstay. There's other books that are published regularly that are pretty interesting, but these are the ones that are proven.
Excellent. Well, we got through all the questions. Thank you very much, Milt.
Thanks.
So for the next steps, if you want to apply for the master's degree, you go to calstate.edu/apply, and you look for the Master of Science in Quality Assurance at Cal State Dominguez Hills. If you have questions regarding the admission process, please email us at msqa@csudh.edu. And if you want to register for our certificate courses, the fall courses have not been scheduled yet, but check out the websites, and they will be scheduled soon. And when they are, you can register by calling the office at 310-243-3741, option 1. And if you've taken a course in the last 2 years, you can use your My CSUDH account. If you have any other questions, you can email us at learn@csudh.edu or call 310-243-2075. With that, I want to thank you for joining us today. Again, here's our contact information. The information kit is on the screen there, bit.ly/csudh-msqa-info kit. And then also, we would love to get your feedback on today's session. The feedback survey is at bit.ly/csudh-webinar-feedback. And again, please feel free to connect with us on our website and however else you can. Once again, thank you for joining us, and have a pleasant day or evening wherever you are.